because it's a pretty unusual world. We've seen a bit of a cyclical slowdown in 2019, and it has had an impact on economic data and central bank behavior and obviously also markets. We maybe hit a recession next year, or will we get a bit of a pickup in growth and also a bit of a pickup in interest rates, although probably they will remain pretty low. Crucial factors of influence there are also political uncertainty and the interaction that politics and the policies that politicians are setting will have with social tension. Social tensions are rising all across the globe. We have yellow vests already for a year, every weekend in the streets of Paris. We have tensions in the UK over Brexit and a lot of social issues. We have almost everywhere in the world protests in the streets about the risks of climate change. And obviously, especially over the last 6 to 9 months. So in this savings glut world, interest rates might well stay low for substantially longer, in our view on that. If there is, as we would identify, a substantial evolution in the biggest swing factor in the policy menu. And that's no longer monetary policy, that now has become fiscal policy. Thereby, monetary policy is very unable to overcome the challenges of uncertainty created by political uncertainty, created by social unrest. As I said at the beginning, we see this bottoming out in the global manufacturing recession, and that is really supporting risky assets overall. No inflation in sight, so also bonds still doing quite well. By shortly summarizing the investment opportunities that we see, despite the economic challenges and the political uncertainty, we would advocate to be tilted more towards risky assets. Equities, European, Japanese, more cyclically tilted, for example, in fixed income, clearly spread products. High yield and EMD, the most obvious candidates.
So this is the framework that we as a team every month and sometimes even intra-month apply to streamline our discussions. So we are with 20 people across the world, in Singapore, very experienced investors, in The Hague, in New York, so all local teams, so that we have local access to the management teams of the companies that we invest in, and so that we have a good grasp of what these companies are actually doing. The first thing we always discuss is the macroeconomic outlook. And I think in the presentation we just saw is actually a perfect reflection of how we view the world as well. Talking about credit fundamentals, and I referenced to this earlier in the story as well. If we look at the companies we cover, and there are more than 1,000 companies that we keep a very close eye on, and that we on almost like a daily basis update our assessment on. History doesn't matter too much, but carry does a lot. So with carry referring to the coupon income, the interest that you're being paid by being invested in a higher yielding bond, that compensates you for a lot of spread volatility. And if you look at the average trailing 5 years, because that's typically the average duration of the benchmark, or the average maturity of the benchmark, if you were invested for a 5-year period, then you would have had almost nowhere in time a negative total return. But in Asia, we've discussed very long within the team, but we're all in agreement, and it's pretty unique that we have a consensus in the team that valuation is extremely attractive in Asia. So valuation of Asian high yield versus European and US high yield, but also valuation versus its own history. It's really attractive asset class from that perspective, and that's how we positioned ourselves.
作为一个债券的投资人，我觉得债券和股票一个最大的区别是，我们说股票我们主要是看它今后的成长的空间，而债券我们更关注于它的信用。新兴市场实际上跑得最好的是相对于给的这个利率相对比较高的一些。我们会发现，新兴国家市场债券，它在回报上来说是比较可观，从8%左右的回报。 但实际上，它的风险是相对比较低的。我自己觉得，中美贸易战应该很快会告一个段落，就是说应该很快会停战休火，签一个 Phase 1的这个 deal。但我觉得我们还是要小心，就是说我们不知道，就是说中美贸易战在打完贸易战之后，会不会有别的东西？大概预测的话，明年会到应该是到6%到8%左右的这个收益，美元计价的收益。 可能接近8%左右。这是我们对这个明年的新兴市场国家债券的一些预测。
投资一定有风险，基金投资有赚有赔，申购前应详阅公开说明书。